Hey, it is your girl, Delisa Robinson, y'all favorite real estate diva out here in these real estate streets. Listen, when I tell you I've been on vacation, so that's why you didn't see me last week, but we're going to talk about vacation later. Today, we are going to talk about the deal from hell. And then I'm going to give you guys a lesson. Well, that's a lesson too. The deal from hell is also a lesson, but we're going to talk about all of it, all of it, all of it, because it all matters. So grab your pens and papers, take some notes because we are going to talk about today. We're going to run it down. I'm going to give you some housekeeping issues that you need to know if you're in this real estate industry. Then I'm going to tell you about the deal from hell. And then I'm going to give you the lessons on how to choose the proper market if you're wholesaling real estate. So if you are planning to wholesale real estate, you need to take some notes because we are going to be out here doing the damn thing. Okay? All right. All right, all right, all right. Just wanted to tell you, because y'all be acting brand new on me and don't be trying to figure things out. So, since that way y'all acting, but y'all is good, and then I'm gone because I have a lot of stuff to do. Being away for what? I was gone for about 9 days. So being away for about 9 days does something to you when you come back as far as things that you have to catch up on. Now, the things that I have to catch up on are truly, truly, truly a lot. Like literally a lot. I have a lot of things that I got to catch you guys up on that's done happen while I was away, and some things that need to be said and done. All right. So, without further ado, turn that down so I don't hear a back echo. Now, again, my name is Lisa Robinson. I am your favorite real estate diva out here slutting it up in these real estate streets. Today is October 1st, 2024, also known as the first day of Q4. So, welcome to October and let's get it. Okay. Now, first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Robinson. I've been out here in the real estate streets for a long time. Now, don't I have had a lot of success and I've had a good amount of failures. And anybody who tells you they're in real estate and they're doing so great and everything is good and they've never had any type of failures, they lying. Because you can't, how do you know it's a success if you've never had a failure? It's just that simple. Okay. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to tell you about my deal from hell that's literally getting ready to go into litigation. Now, my client, the seller, I represented the seller side in this wholesale deal, not represented because I wasn't in it as a real estate agent, but this person is a repeat seller for me. Let me put it like that. She's a repeat seller for me. And I really hate that this happened to her, but it happened and there's not much I can do about it. And I've tried to do everything I can to get her on the right path of this, to get this deal back on track. And I can't. The only thing I can do right now, because it is a deal that's ready to close, is to find a buyer for it. So if I can find a buyer, then it's great. If I can't, we're going to court. She still might go to court. Even if she sell it to somebody else, she still might go to court because she is just that pissed. So another thing, like I said, in my housekeeping issues today, what I have for you is this. I have a little bit about the interest rates because everybody's going crazy and you see a whole bunch of things and memes and this, that, and the third about interest rates. Yes, the Fed gave us a 50 basis points. Okay. That's not much. It's a big deal when you're talking about interest rates and mortgages and how much you have to pay, but it's a good deal for the economy. That's all I can say. So what that means for you, mortgage holders, nothing, nothing, unless you have an adjustable rate mortgage. And even then, you have to read the fine print. Okay. Now, if you have an adjustable rate mortgage and the Fed drops the rates, as they say, then your mortgage payment should come down. But if they raise the rates, your mortgage payment should have gone up. And that's how that works. That's why they call it an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. It's called an ARM. That means when the Fed increases or decreases the rates, your mortgage payment should go up or down based on what they did. Now I'm gonna tell you why that's dangerous. Back in 2008, when this was the last time I really heard of anybody getting an adjustable rate mortgage, I actually had one, to be honest with you. I had one. And this mortgage, I'm telling you, my mortgage went up like 4 times in 2 years because the Fed kept raising and lowering it. It went up, and it kept going up. It never came down. It kept going up. So I'm sitting here like, you've got to be kidding me. This was back when I bought this was my very first house that I bought. I knew nothing about mortgages. I got no information. My mortgage lender, all he was trying to do was close the deal so he could get a check. My attorney was the only person on my side. The real estate agent wasn't on my side. This is all a story for another day. And I've told this story before, but for some of you who are new to me, this is going to happen. So today we're going to talk. That's all that adjustable. That's the only reason that somebody would get an adjustable mortgage is if they don't plan to have that mortgage for a long time. That's the one thing I will tell you. An adjustable rate mortgage is not something that you should have for 30 years. It's just not. Okay. Now, so that's it because I keep getting questions about mortgage rates and what what does this change means. So that's why that's like that. Okay. All right. Now, number two, a lot of states are now getting into, hey, Mr. Howard, a lot of states are now getting into the squatter laws because there are a lot of vacant properties that are owned and operated by citizens, and the people are getting mad because these vacant houses are in their neighborhoods, so they want to get rid of them. So a lot of states are instituting squatter laws. What this means is normally if a person came and they squatted in your house and they were there for 30 days, they became a tenant. Now what they're saying is if you show up and the police would not put them out. Now, if you called the police and said, someone's in my house, they shouldn't be here, and that person could prove that they have been there for any length of time, the police are going to say no, they can't do it. So, but now with all these new laws going into effect, thank God, because now you can get them out. So if they can't prove that they have a legal right to be in your house, they have to go immediately. There is no, oh, you're going to have to take this to court. You're going to have to evict them. No, a lot of states are implementing this. I know Florida was the first state that I heard of. Georgia now has one, and New York also has one, a new squatter law. So check into your new squatter laws wherever you live, because just because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean it's not out there for you to partake of. Okay. Now, that's it. That's all I'm going to give you. I'm going to tell you what's going to come up next because I have to find this document because I really want to talk about it. And it's leases under good cause eviction model. There is a new form in New York State. Remember, this is New York State that I'm talking about when I'm talking about this form. And New York State, there's a new form. You have to have your tenants complete when they are going to renew their lease or take on a new lease. So be on the lookout for those forms. I had an attorney send it to me. As soon as I find it, I'll let you know. I'll review it, go through it, and see what it's all about. Then I'll come back and explain it to you guys. All right. Now let's talk about the deal from Hale, because y'all don't really want to y'all don't really want none of this, to be honest. The deal from Hale. So this is a wholesale deal, because that's, you guys know, that's where I'm at right now. I'm doing a lot of wholesaling, or I'm trying to anyway. I'm trying to do a lot of wholesaling, and I will be back to doing it and posting houses. And oh, before I get into this deal from Hill, I have currently 2 houses in Milwaukee. Yes, I have 2 houses in Milwaukee that are in need of selling. So they are both single family homes. One home is, neither one of them are occupied. They're vacant single family homes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for sale. Both of them under 80,000, and they don't need a whole lot of work. One of them needs some work, but not a whole lot. And the other one needs some cosmetics. So I have two homes for sale in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Two single family homes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You're gonna see me post this right after this live stream is over because we're showing it in 2 days. We're showing one of them in 2 days. And the other one I gotta get more pictures of before I can set up a showing and see because we have to run some numbers. But they're both 75. I think they're asking 75,000 for both. Not for both together, but each 75,000 a piece. Okay? So that's that. That's that. And I have one 3 unit, one, two, three, 3 unit here in Buffalo that is for sale. It is on East Lovejoy, so that might be considered Sloan, might be considered Buffalo. But if you're interested in a 3 unit in Buffalo, give me a call if you have my phone number. If you don't, inbox me immediately so I can set up some showings. I'm back from vacation. I'm very rejuvenated, so we're gonna get this started. All right, all right. Now let's talk about the deal from hell. And you guys saw me post these. I put them on Marketplace. You saw me post these. People were asking me about these houses like crazy. I was driving back and forth to Syracuse. My friends and my business accountability partners, y'all all know, because it takes me 2 hours and 15 minutes to drive from my house to Syracuse, New York. Okay. And I was driving once a week for 3 to 4 weeks in a row for showings on these two properties. Now, the one property was recently lived in, like within the last year. They're both vacant. The one is recently lived in within the past year. And when I tell you, the people who lived in this house, just not the cleanest. Let's keep it nice. I'm gonna keep it cute for y'all. They weren't the cleanest people on the planet. So therefore the house looked really nasty. And then once they moved out, there wasn't there were some people who were coming in and out, squatting, doing all kinds of stuff. So the house was really in a bad condition. So that was the first house. The second house was also it was a huge house. I remember when the people were living there, and it was a very nice house before the people that were living there, and the fire. Yep, I said it. The house was on fire. It's completely fire damaged. I wish I had a picture. If not, I'll post some pictures later of this house. It was fire damaged. So fast forward to me putting the property under contract. I posted the property on Marketplace. I posted the property all over social media and everything else. And we were behind the scenes. I sent it out to my buyers list. Nobody, and this guy called me saying that he wanted to buy the properties, both. I said, well, there's two properties. If you buy them together, I can get you a deal because it's the same seller. I said, but if I can't get them sold together, it's a wrap. And you're going to have to pay the higher price for both. He says, okay. We signed the contract. He's ready to go. Okay. Now, that was in May, the first week of May, actually. Contract clearly states earnest money deposit has to be made within 24 hours. He didn't send it. He didn't send it. I'm calling. I call his attorney. The attorney's office claims they wired the money. Now, anybody who's ever worked in banking, you know, it does not take you 5 days to get a wire. It takes you 5 days to get ACH. It might take you 5 days to get a check by mail or overnight it, but it does not take you 5 days to get a wire. So I'm calling. I said, you know what? You haven't met the terms of the agreement. I have some other people who are interested in the property. I'm just going to move on with these people. No, don't do that. And as soon as I said that, look, miraculously, the next day, the EMD shows up in wire. It was wired to me. So we went on. Okay, fine. Now we get to, got to have a beverage when you live stream it because throat is dry. So we go under contract. He finally gets the EMD in. This is all in May. Mind you, today is October 1st. Okay. So he puts the properties on the contract. Like I said, first week of May, by the mid May, so May 15th, by May 15th, we had the EMD. The attorney's office did not order title, and we're talking New York State, because in New York State, you have to have clear title in order to transfer property, unless you quit deed it. Now, we had title. We didn't have a title yet. So we were waiting for the title. I'm like, okay, did you order the title? My attorney's waiting for the title. The seller's waiting to get word about the title. We're trying to close because the closing date was June 30th. No, actually, the closing date was June 15th. His attorney didn't order title until June 17th. Now, in New York State, because how title works like this, especially during the summer. In New York State, it takes 4 to 6 weeks normally without high volume. It takes 6 to 8 weeks after. Okay, during high volume. So we're looking at 4 weeks. So now we're already in July because this is taking that amount of time. Okay, fine. Call my client. They ordered title late. We're not going to get it until this day. So we should be closed mid-July. She goes, I don't like it, but okay. So she's pissed. I already know she's pissed. So now we're waiting for title. Nothing else I can say or do. We already got EMD. Already got all the contracts are signed. We got EMD. We're just waiting for the title to come back. This was a cash deal, so there's no appraisal, no inspections. There was nothing. They had a due diligence. And this is generous because normally in my contracts, I don't do 30-day due diligence. I did a 30-day due diligence. Now, and that's just because I knew we had to wait for title anyway. So they did it. Now, due diligence for people who are new to real estate. Due diligence, a 30-day due diligence period means you have 30 days to get inspections, walk the property, take pictures, get estimates, do whatever it is you need to do in order to get this deal, in order to get this house sold, under contract, closed, and everything else. This is for the seller's due diligence, the buyer's due diligence. They had 30 days. Now, normally I'll say 7. It's like and for those of you who, like I said, you may not be familiar with real estate lingo, due diligence is like an inspection period. How long you have to view the property, look at the property, and do everything you need to do with it. Okay. Now, so what happened is we are now in September. Just going to keep it cute. So the title comes back and there's issues with the title. Remember what I told you, New York State, you have to have clear title. You can't just transfer a property that has issues with the title, even though you will buy title insurance. You cannot do that. So my client's attorney decided to try and get the issues, that's their job. They're to get the issues cleared up before they transfer the property to the new buyer. Because they don't want to come back and have their client be liable for anything. So that's why you order title. For those of you who don't know why title gets ordered, it's not just to transfer the property, because there's deed and then there's title. Title is a history of the property, and who bought it, who sold it, how much they paid for it, and who owned it and how long they owned it. That's title. And titles can go back 20, 40, 60, 80 years. And so, and a lot of states require you to have at least a 40-year title. So that's that. Okay. Now, so we get the title back and there's issues. What's the issue? There's liens. There's liens against the property. So now that there's liens against the property, you have to verify the information on the lien. The party who has the lien has a right to say whether or not they want to let this go. So there's a lot of things. Now, here was the issue. There were no liens against this property. There were liens against the seller because the seller had the property. Boom. Guess what? It wasn't even my seller. It was the seller who sold it to her. So the previous owner had judgments and liens against this property. And when they purchased the property, they didn't get the clear title. They didn't have proof of title insurance. So we had to go back through all of this. And the title company's job is to clear the title company or the attorney, depending on what type of state you're in. New York State is an attorney state. So the attorneys clear the title. Michigan is a title company state. So the title company has to clear the title. Okay, so we get the title and there's issues. The issue was with the previous owner, and it wasn't against the previous owner, it was against his son, who had no claims to the property, which we found out, but that's what the title company is for. So let's say John T. Doe Sr., John T. Doe Jr., but they don't put the junior or the senior, or I'm sorry, you got John Doe and John T. Doe. Our issue, no joke, was the middle initial. That's how we discovered it wasn't our client, because there was a middle initial and it's same name, but my client, the previous owner, didn't have a middle initial, his son did. So that's how we got that cleared up. This happened to me a few years ago with the same thing. There was an issue with the sellers. They had a father and son situation where there was a junior and senior, and they had to prove that my client had to prove that it wasn't their debt in order to get it released from the house so that we could sell it. Okay, so that's the type of stuff that comes up in title. So that was August, all the way through August, all the way through September. We're working on title because it takes time to clear title if the person who's owed the money that's on there does not want to release that title. Okay, all right. Now, once title is clear, you have to close. You have to fund, which means close. So the attorneys are going to get them together. They're going to fill out all the closing. They're going to get all the closing documentation together. They're going to send it to each other for review. They're going to sign off on it. They're going to give it to their clients. Their clients are going to sign off on it. Once you sign off on closing documents, you must fund the account. So that means you should have a check given to your attorney or the title company, and that check goes in holding until both sets of closing documents are received. Well, here's where the litigation comes in, because I know you guys are like, wait a minute, what? What? How did this go bad? What's going on? So my seller and my buyer, because remember, I'm the wholesaler. My seller and my buyer both signed the closing documents for both properties. The buyer all of a sudden decides he doesn't want the second property, but he's already passed due diligence. He's already passed closing because he signed all the closing documents. Keep that in mind. He approved and signed all the closing documents, but he only funded one property. So now my client, who just texted me not too long ago to tell me, please advise the buyer that if they do not fund this account this week, I've already spoke to an attorney and we're going to sue. And she goes, and if they don't fund it before I retain this attorney, they're not going to fund it. So now she's in this whole process. She's pissed. Now all she wants is as much money as she can get out of everybody. And that's what she's going for. So here's what happens if you decide after you've signed closing documents, you can be sued for breach of contract. Basically is what it's called. But you've already signed the documents and you don't have a leg to stand on, really, because your due diligence inspection period is up. The title came back with issues and they were cleared up. You signed the closing documents and then you proceeded to wire funds for one property but not both. So what reason do they have for not funding the second property? Here's the claim. It's not in the condition that it was when we originally saw it. You hear what I said? They're claiming that it wasn't in the condition that it was when they originally saw it. Um, yeah, it is. Because the house has severe fire damage that you were made aware of verbally in a text message, and a link to a video was sent to you before you signed a contract. So that's where it comes in at. Before a contract was signed, we sent video, we sent pictures. They had everything they needed to do whatever due diligence they needed to do. They even had our permission to go into, remove the boards because the house is boarded up. And we had someone that was willing to meet them there to unboard the house, take the boards off so they could walk through. I walk through it. If you want to go on, if you're on Instagram, you want to go back a couple, more than a couple now, back to May 2024, and I'm walking through a burnout house. This is the house that we're talking about. If you're not on my Instagram, if you're not on Instagram listening to me now, when we get off, you can go to at the real estate dot diva and you will see the burnout house. Everybody knows this house. Why? Because I live streamed from this house when I was in it, showing it to on one of my mini trips to Syracuse to show this property. The link was sent to him. The pictures, even still pictures, were sent to him to show him that it was a fire damaged house. So he had ample time to do everything he needed to do in order to get this house to back out of the contract. And not only that, why would you wait until you've already signed the closing documents? Why would you not do a final walkthrough before you sign the closing documents, especially since the last time you saw it was in May? So that's what they're trying to claim at this point. Thank you all for those of you who are just joining. We're talking about the deal from hell, the wholesale deal from hell. I actually have a deal that is getting ready to go into litigation. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I think it might. And at this point, I don't know what to do. Well, I'm not the one being sued. I've already clarified that with the seller. She's suing the person who signed the closing documents, not me. And she's very pissed. That's how that works. So when you have people in so when you do wholesale deals, not all wholesale deals are going to close, and not all, and when they don't close, sellers have a right to go after you as a wholesaler. So you want to be careful about how you approach this and what you put in those contracts. That's why it's very important to put the right things in your contract. And for those of you who are signed up for the Get Wire Boot Camp, we have 12 days before we get started. If you and we're gonna pick apart this particular deal inside boot camp step by step by step. I'm going to show you the emails. I'm going to show you the pictures. I'm going to show you the contracts. I'm going to show you the text messages. Where I'm going to show you everything so you understand exactly what it is that this deal, how this deal fell apart and how it came to now we're on court. And don't get it twisted. If the seller decides to sue you, you need to retain an attorney. If your seller doesn't, they're going to sue who signed the closing documents. That's what, in this case, that she's suing who signed the closing documents. So she's suing my buyer, the end buyer. And you may have to testify if this goes through litigation. You may have to make a statement if it goes through mediation. So there are different things in how this is going to play out, but be careful when you're promising the sun, the moon, and the stars. That stuff doesn't belong to you, and anything could happen, anything could come about, anything could pop up, and this deal doesn't close. Always keep in good contact with your buyers, with your sellers, so you understand and they understand each step of the way what's going on. People always ask me, Delisa, what do you do? How do you manage your schedule? Easy. I have a day Every single week, I have a day, and today is that day. It's Tuesday. I used to do it on Monday, and then I remember when I was like, no, it's not going to happen on Mondays because here's how real estate works. Real estate doesn't take days off. Most real estate showings are done on Saturday and Sundays. Open houses mostly are done on Saturdays and Sundays. You are probably a real estate agent or a wholesaler, depending on what what you are. When you guys are showing houses, you might show three, four, five houses in a day. You might do an open house on a Sunday or a Saturday and use the next day for showing houses. Or you might go straight from an open house that's from 11 to 2, 1 to 3. And at from 4 to 5, you might be showing houses. So there's a lot to do. Guess what happens on Monday? Most of us are not showing houses on Monday morning. We're decompressing and getting the things situated from the weekend, all the stuff that can happen over the weekend, especially if you have offers due. If you had an open house and you have offers due, you're going to start going through the offers and contacting the buyer agents. Some of us, I actually contact all my buyers agents and tell them, no, you didn't get it, even if I have to do it by email, but I still tell them. And you want to, you're going to be doing a lot of things on Monday. So what I started doing is I do all my follow up on Tuesday. So Tuesday is follow up day, and that's early in the morning. I get up at 5 a.m. I start sending emails to attorneys and other wholesalers and real estate agents and title companies at 5 a.m. Okay, guess what? They then start responding at around 6:37, depending on when they wake up or when they get into the office. Like the paralegal that I work with at my attorney's office, she's in the office sitting at her desk at 7 a.m. She gets off at 3, but she's in her office at 7 a.m. So she might start replying back to me. And then the next thing you know, it's all communication all day. And then based on what they tell me, now I have to call the buyer. Now I have to call the buyer's attorney or the buyer's title company if they're using two separate title companies. However it goes, I have to start calling people to figure out what's going on. So that's what I do on Tuesday mornings after workout and prayer and sometimes breakfast. I'm not very consistent with eating breakfast in the morning, but you get what I'm saying. So this is why the lines of communication have to be open. We have to know what's going on because you don't want to alienate your buyer or your seller, and then something like this pops up and they have no clue what's going on. Okay, so now we are in this where they're trying to back out of the deal. Now they want to renegotiate the price. She goes, no, they've had since May to renegotiate this price. And she's right. They had since May. That's how you know they didn't see it. This is why I tell you guys, for you investors out there who are trying to build portfolios, stop buying property sight unseen. Stop making, and if you're a wholesaler, stop making blind offers on properties you haven't seen. First of all, you need to make sure there's a house there. Don't go by Google Maps because Google Maps could be anything. And you might not get it might not even be the right picture. The picture might not even be from this year. So stop doing that to yourselves. Okay. Now, the one thing I do want you guys to do, and I want you guys to pay attention to this, is always, always, always keep notes. Keep as much of your conversation in email format, even or text message format. Because guess what? You can always print those out and send them in if you have to go to court. All right. Okay. Now for the fun stuff, because this is what y'all want to know. Because this is what y'all want to know. Y'all want to know, no. How do you choose your markets? Delisa, how do you choose your market? Easy. Now, any questions about my deal from hell before I get in here and say yay, nay, twisted sideways or whatever? Any other questions about the deal from hell? Yes, the fire damaged house is still available if anybody would like to purchase. It is in Syracuse. It is under $50,000. Yep, it is. And so, and if you know someone or you have a buyer that's interested and they like to do fire damage, this house is fire damaged. Okay. I'll repost a link later on my Facebook page and you can go through my lives. You can go through my lives on Instagram because that's where the video is. The video of me going live stream is from the house. And it's like a 45-minute live stream. So people can't say, oh, I didn't know how bad the house was. Yeah, you did. Especially if I sent you the link to that live stream. And that's how I was showing everybody the property, sending them that link. Okay. All right. So yes, the house is still available because that was one of the questions I got. Now let's talk about locations and how to choose your market. Grab your pens, grab your papers. The real content is about to begin. And it's not going to take me long to do this, unless y'all ask me questions, but nope. Now, this is something that's very important. If you join the Get Wired Bootcamp, this is probably one of the first things I'm going to show you how to do. So if you want to grab pens and papers, you could be ahead of the game. Hint, hint, because pre-work is going to start going out to you guys this week. All right. And if you still, this boot camp is normally $497. This, for a limited time, it's $97. And if you join, this is for the people who have joined already and who want to join. If you want to join, you can still join. I'll drop a link. Just hit me. If you're on Instagram, DM me and I'll send you the link. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, send me a message. I'll send you the link. Here's what happened. If you joined or you're interested in joining, make sure you read the email that gets sent to you that welcomes you to boot camp. The reason why is because there's something in that email that you must do. Say it again. There's something in that email that you must do. Here's how I know that y'all not reading your emails, because only one person has completed the task that's in there, and you have to complete the task as soon as possible. All right, it has to be done. And there's only one person who's done it so far out of the people that have registered. So don't blame me because y'all ain't do what y'all was supposed to do. Because if you wait until class starts, you're going to miss something really, really important. Hint, hint. So get yourselves, check your emails. Okay. And it's I kid you not, as soon as you register, the email gets sent to you immediately. So that's how quick the email told you. Don't tell me you didn't get it because you got it. And how do I know? Because this girl did what she was supposed to do. Thank you, Allison, who just registered yesterday, by the way. Thank you. She's the only one who did what she was supposed to do. All the rest of y'all didn't do it. All right, now let's talk about how we choose our markets. Y'all ready for this? Now, first of all, I don't do rural. I have a problem saying the word, so I usually say country. I don't do country. I don't do a lot of land, and I don't do a lot of mobile homes. I think I've wholesaled one mobile home in the 8 years that I've been wholesaling real estate, one mobile home. And I've only done one piece of land. Actually, one land, one mobile home. Not that I don't know how, it's just not my focus. Because that's not what my clients are looking for. Now, if my clients are looking for it, I'll go get it, but they're not looking for that. Okay. Now, hello, my son. So the first thing I tell you is when I say what to look for in your market, population. That's why I don't do the country or the rural areas. Population is important. You have to have a minimum of 250,000 people living in a city, town, village, or municipality. Let me put it like that. At least 250,000 people living in that area. I usually go for more, maybe about 500,000, because then I know I can stick in that area for a little while. Okay. You also have to look at the suburban areas that are attached to that major city. So I'm going to use Buffalo as my example. You guys follow along. Okay. All right, pumpkins. All right. Thank you. Now, first of all, the population. And you need to write it down. Y'all don't, it's so crazy that y'all don't write this stuff down. Okay. The first thing you want to write down is population. What is the population of the city? You could Google this. The majority of the stuff I'm going to ask you to do, you can Google. So yes, you hear me typing because I'm going to Google. I'm going to use Buffalo, New York. You guys can, if you guys want to follow along, that's the city I'm going to use today. So if you want to look at this, go to Buffalo, New York. You're going to Google what is the population of Buffalo. And then you guys can tell me what it is. I'm doing it now myself too. I'm doing it right along with you. Okay, so it's going to ask you, what is the population of Buffalo, New York? And it says Buffalo has a 2024 population, 2024. So 2024 population of Buffalo is 273,720 people. So now I go to the next step. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, it says S Desire. It's very, thank you for joining it. You're very welcome. So the population of Buffalo is 273,720 people. So that's a good bingo so far. Just because the population matches doesn't mean everything else is going to match. So the next thing you want to look at is you want to look at attractions. Yep. I know y'all looking at me like, what? Yep. You want to look at activity. What goes on in the city? Guess what happens every weekend in the city of Buffalo, no matter what, from May till October? Every single weekend, we have a festival. We have some type of community activity that's always going on. Yes, we do. And I'm saying inside the city limits. We're not even talking about our suburbs yet. Okay. Just the city limits of Buffalo. And guess what? We have Juneteenth Festival, which is a weekend. We do a parade. It's huge. It's like the second largest Juneteenth celebration in the country. And that's in June. We have also an Allentown Art Festival. We have the Taste of Buffalo, which is like it's the second largest outside of Chicago. Chicago's is huge. And then, thank you, marvelous one, the Bills. We got Buffalo Bills. We have Buffalo Sabres, which is our hockey team. We are 3 hours from Detroit, Cleveland, and Toronto, who all have what? Baseball, football, and hockey teams. So we are close proximity to all of that. So this is why when you're choosing a market, you have to look for what's going on in the city. Okay. Now, when I say activity, I also mean building, growing. What else is going on in the city? And just to tell you, we have the Italian festival, the Wing Fest, because where did the wings originate? Right here in Buffalo. So we have Wing Fest, Taste of Buffalo. We have a baseball team. We have a baseball team. We have a lacrosse team. So there are things that are going on in the city of Buffalo that will keep you active every day. There's something to do in the city every day. Now, a lot of people who live here will tell you there's nothing to do in Buffalo. Nothing that you like to do. Let's be clear. But there's something to do in Buffalo every day. Now, you want to know how many homes have sold. So you want to Google that. So you go back to Google and you say, how many new builds? Let's do that. How many newly built homes in the city of Buffalo. Make sure you put New York for those of you who live outside the state, because Google likes to do it based on your location. And there's also a Buffalo, Minnesota that's going to come up if you don't. So you want to go City of Buffalo. How many newly built homes? Uh-oh, here we go. Boom. Okay. And then you'll see news articles. You'll see new construction homes in Buffalo. And that's on Zillow. Okay. So now you're going to go to new construction homes in Buffalo. And guess what? There's 24. That doesn't mean we only built 24. That's just 24 on Zillow. Okay. Then as of 2024, September 28th, 2024, the city of Buffalo built sorry, I thought I had it. I don't. Hold on. There are 17 new construction homes for sale currently in the city of Buffalo. That means they're for sale. That doesn't mean they're doing it. Yep, University of Buffalo, Medical School, the Medical Center, the Roswell Cancer Institute. There's so much going on in Buffalo, people don't understand. That's why people are moving in and out of the city every day. And there are dozens of new build homes. And the first thing that comes up, dozens of new homes to be built on the east side of Buffalo. There's 100 newly built homes on the east side of Buffalo that are being built. And let me tell you, when is this news article? As of, it doesn't tell me when it was. Hold on. I don't know. So that's what you're going to want to ask too. How many newly built homes in the city of Buffalo? You want to know not only how many new builds, how many homes sold in the city of Buffalo. You want to know this. Why? Because you want to know if the city is active. You want to know if people are actually spending money in the city. So if your market is Tampa or St. Louis or Chicago or Dallas or Rochester, New York, Syracuse, New York, Gary, Indiana, you're going to ask the same questions. You're just going to put Gary, Indiana instead of Buffalo, New York, or Indianapolis instead of Buffalo. Okay. Then you want to know, you want to be familiar. Choose a market that you are familiar with because you need to know it. And a lot of y'all do this. Y'all wait. Y'all be watching the social media. Y'all be waiting for people to say what market. Anytime somebody close a deal, y'all all in, I see it in these wholesale groups all the time. Anytime somebody close a deal and they say, "Oh, I closed my deal today. I got this much," and they show their big check, which is all fake, by the way. They show you this check, and the first thing they say, you'll see somebody say, "Oh, what market are you in?" And then next thing you know, you want to try and wholesale that market. That is not how that works. That is not how that works. Okay. That's not how real estate works. You don't play follow the leader in real estate. You create your own lane. If you want to be successful in real estate, you will create your own lane. You don't believe me? Ask any real estate agent that's successful. They're going to tell you what they do. So create your own lane. So you want to be familiar. Do they, and you want to say this. What's going on? What side of town is getting, I just told you, the east side of Buffalo. And I'm telling you now, that's where the majority of the wholesale deals happen, on the east side of Buffalo. Whether it's land, we don't have a lot of mobile homes in Buffalo. Sorry, y'all, we don't. Whether it's land, new construction, or existing homes, it's the east side of Buffalo where the majority of those homes are being sold. Right? Don't get me wrong. My buyers are looking for stuff in the suburban areas in the North Buffalo, even in South Buffalo is becoming very popular right now. So they're looking for things in those areas. So it's my job to find it. But for right now, the majority of my people are looking for the east side of Buffalo. Okay. So, like I said, you want to know what development is happening. Are they building new schools? Are they renovating the schools that they currently have? Are they building a new hospital? I'm telling you now, I grew up in the fruit belt. I grew up in the fruit belt in Buffalo. Let me explain. The fruit belt is a neighborhood where all the streets are named after fruits and trees. Okay. So I grew up on Mulberry Street. Yes, I know. I grew up on Mulberry Street. And but I can tell you, when I was living on Mulberry Street, there was a hospital. There was Buffalo General Hospital, and I could walk from my house to that hospital. There was a pizza spot called the High Spot. There was a drugstore, and I can't remember. Allscript. Allscript Pharmacy was at the corner of Michigan and High Street in Michigan. And Roswell was on Carlton. Roswell is still on Carlton, but now you can access it. It's grown. Guess what else is there now? Because they decided to tear down everything else that was over there. They expanded the Buffalo General Hospital. Now it's one of the best stroke and heart centers you can go to in the country. They have the Roswell Cancer Institute. They moved our children's hospital from Bryant and Elmwood over to Main and High Street. Guess where UB Medical School is? Right across the street. So they created a medical corridor, and that's what they call it. They don't call it the fruit belt; they call it the medical corridor. So now we all know it used to be one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. Guess what happened? All those older people that lived in those houses when I was living there, they've passed away. Either their children have sold the property, they're renting out the property, or and now it's being gentrified. So that's what we mean. Like you should know what's going on in your areas. Okay. Now, not only should you know what's going on, what's being developed, you should be familiar with the areas. Guess what else you need to know? You also need to know who's buying and what are they spending. Who's buying and what are they spending? And you want to know who's buying, how much they're spending, where they are buying, and you can also use these buyers as your target audience. Because when I tell you my whole purpose for being a wholesaler is to solve the problems of the seller and give the buyers what they want. Solve the problem of the seller. And to be so I am the source. I'm the plug. Just put it like that. I'm the plug. So when I say I'm the plug, that means I am the resource for sellers. I am the resource for buyers, which is why I get text messages at 5 o'clock in the morning that says, hey, I know you might be asleep, but when you wake up, can you look at this property? This is why when I was last week on vacation, I consistently got text messages and emails telling me they have properties for me to sell. So what did I do when I came back? Today is the day I'm going to do follow up. But I had to also reach out to you guys too, because I'm always teaching you guys because I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to make a profit. Okay. So you want to know which one of these categories your buyer is going to be into. Are they a flipper? Are they a homeowner? Or are they the landlord? Those are the three categories most wholesalers will deal with. Are there other types of buyers? Yes, there are. But these are the three that you will deal with the most in wholesaling. Okay. So you want to know which deal you need to pitch to which buyer. That's another thing. You want to know the average rental price in a market. Why? Because we don't just wholesale distressed houses, sweetheart. We don't. We wholesale distress. We wholesale houses that are new builds that people don't want no more. My friend Jen and her husband, they don't wholesale. They wholesale, but they do it a different way. And that's something you guys will learn in boot camp. But they found they were calling like they normally do to pitch to sellers, and they looked up. This guy had just bought his house last year. Bought his house in 2022, and his job was transferring him in 2023. They got this house for $100 out of pocket because he just wanted to be done with it. Because he had to leave and be on this, and he didn't want to worry about the mortgage. So they took over his mortgage. Mhm. So for $100 out of pocket, they got a $400,000 house. It happens. Not often, but it happens. So you need to know who's liquidating, who's sold, who's buying. You need to know that information. And there are services like PropStream, PropWire, Property Shark. They will give you those numbers. They will tell you that information. Okay. Now, if you're interested in a 7-day free trial for PropStream, which I know all my people in boot camp are going to be, I can give you the link so you can get a 7-day free trial. Yeah, okay. And then you want to know your neighborhoods. Everyone's the okay, let me explain to you when you're wholesaling real estate. You don't want the hot neighborhood because everybody wants the hot neighborhood. You want the neighborhood that touches the hot neighborhood. So how I just told you the medical corridor was hot, no longer hot. It was hot. So guess what? Cold Spring, which is a neighborhood that touches the medical corridor. So Cold Spring is a warm neighborhood. Okay. Then downtown is another warm neighborhood because the Fruit Belt is bordered by the expressway that takes you downtown Buffalo, which is so crazy. I know. And you also had, I can't remember the name of it. I can't think of the neighborhood right off the bat. But if you're on, you had Jefferson to Humboldt, that neighborhood. So from Jefferson to Humboldt, you had that neighborhood. So that's where we came in next. So those would be considered the warm neighborhoods, not the hot neighborhoods. So while everybody else is in that hot neighborhood and everybody's trying to get into the Fruit Belt and buy property in the Fruit Belt, your job is to buy the property in the next neighborhood. Start farming the next neighborhood because that's the neighborhood that's going to get you paid. Because people always say, okay, if everybody's over here, I'm going to be in this neighborhood. And that's how you get it. All right. So you want to know your city and state. You want to know the population. You want to know what attractions they have. You want to know about their real estate market. What's the average home value? Not price, value. Okay. How many homes have sold in the last 6 months? How long are the homes staying on the market? You want to know. You can get in touch with you. And remember what I told you. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about teams and what everybody's team should be doing, what everybody on the team should be doing. And that's going to probably take me like 2 or 3 days to go through all the people that are on your team. So we're going to talk about that. And you want to know where are your investors actually buying property? And the reason why I say that is because everybody should have a real estate agent on their team. And real estate agents, hint, hint, you can make money too with wholesalers. Just saying, you know, I don't want y'all to try and figure it out and say something different. Oh, Delisa said, and Delisa said, I can make money as a wholesaler. You can. You can make money as a wholesaler with with real estate agents. You just, and if you don't know, and real estate agents, quit telling people that it's illegal to wholesale because it's not. Unless you are in an area that where they say you have to have a license to wholesale. But you're not. You're definitely not. Okay, it's definitely not illegal. I had a broker here in Buffalo tell me wholesaling is illegal. No, it's not. I said, sweetie, trust me. I love having a real estate license. I don't always love selling real estate, but I love having a real estate license. And I called the state. I checked all my local laws. I checked all the laws for the state, and it's not illegal to be a licensed real estate agent and wholesale real estate. It's not illegal. At least not New York State. and not in Georgia because I checked there too. All right. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My name is Lisa Robinson. No, I'm serious. No, but that's what you need. So we talked about my deal from hell. I told you guys about the interest rates and this new squatter laws that are going on everywhere. Then we talked about the deal from hell. I will keep you posted on the deal from hell, especially since she says she's going to retain her attorney this week. And if they don't fund before she retains her attorney, she's going to sue the hell out of them. Her words, not mine. So yeah, part of my follow up for today, calling that buyer and relaying her message. Unless they saw this, then they're fine. All right, so I'm gonna get up out of here because it is almost 3:30, and I have to start my laundry and some other things that are on my schedule for today. So I really, really do appreciate you guys coming in. Remember, tomorrow we're going to talk about building your teams, and we're going to talk about why you need certain people on your team and what you need to do. Okay? Because remember, I don't teach you how to wholesale houses. I teach you how to build a wholesaling business. So in order to have a business, you have to have a team. All right? It's like what was that? Sesame Street. Who are the people in your neighborhood? Yeah. So we're gonna say who are the people on your team. Okay. All right. Love and like you a lot. Remember what I always tell you guys before we sign off. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I'm going to do my little thing that I do before I sign off every time. And if we have any questions, I'll definitely ask them. Excuse me. I'll definitely answer them, I should say. So I always tell you guys that you can choose to be anything that you want in this life. I just hope that you choose to be kind because at some point in your life, someone has been kind to you. And it's really cool just to pay kindness forward. Not only does it make you a good person, but if we all do it, make the world a much better place to live in. And we wouldn't have all these wars. Okay? So there it is. There it is. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. I will send it out. Turn your notifications on if you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. And we will go from there because I never know what time. I don't know what time I'm going live until I look at my schedule for the day. That's the one thing I don't put on my schedule. I'll just wake up in the morning and I'll send something out. I'll be live at this time. So, all right. Now, remember, be kind, be nice, and become the source. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about building out your teams, and I'll give you an update on my deal from hell. See if I get in contact with this buyer so I can relay our message and get stuff going. All right. Now, I have another story I'll tell you guys tomorrow too. It's about a guy and a tax auction. Remember I said that. We're going to talk about some tax auctions. So we're going to build your team. We're going to start building out teams tomorrow, though, because you really need these people on your team, especially a real estate agent. All right. I will talk to you later. It's never too late to start wholesaling, so why not start now? If you're interested in joining the Get Wired Wholesale Bootcamp, we start on October 13th at 7 p.m. That is a Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We meet twice a week, Sunday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be going in depth on the topics that I'm talking about now. I will give you more in-depth information on those topics. And like I said, the deal from hell is going to be a case study that we study. Also, the tax story that I'm going to tell you guys tomorrow, along with a probate story that I'm going to tell you guys too. So that is where we're going to be. Okay. So I'm going to get up out of here because it is 3:30 and I got to go. I really got to go. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hasta la bye-bye.